Round here, them guns get the last word.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about this mysterious Ogre slash Miguel leak that appeared out of thin air. The YouTuber Mad Mike first talked about this. It was then sent to me. People are wondering what I think about it, and I'm just going to give you a full breakdown. First off, let me say this. There was a couple of leaks that we were already discussing before this whole thing even unfolded. You got to talk about Kazumi. You got to talk about Fakram. Even though the Kazumi leak seems like it has some credibility, for those of you who don't know, I made a full video about it. But in that video, basically there was a person who discovered during the beta Heihachi's moveless, like 60-40%, something like that. And at the same time, they also discovered Kazumi, but they thought that that stuff was just going to be for Reina, so they completely ignored it. But when Heihachi was announced as his own character, that's when the guy was like, hold on a second, I found Heihachi and I also found Kazumi. So is Kazumi her own character? That's basically where that leak comes from. Now, Fakram is something we've been talking about for so long, and honestly, that's who I believe the final character is. I don't want you guys to take my word on it. Don't buy the battle pass expecting Fakram. It's just what I think is the most likely. For Fakram, Harada drops a few hints all throughout the year where he was talking about the orange silhouette, you talk about the hamster, all of these stuff, also data mines, move lists, so much stuff. I have a video talking about it, breakdown. You can watch that full Fakram video. But so far, as it stands, Fakram is the character who has the most evidence pointing towards him for the final character of Season 1. Now, Season 2 is something you can also talk about as well, right? Because I think it's going to be Marduk, Armor King, Anna, and I don't know who the final character will be, or could be. And this is where this leak could come from. It could fill in the gap and piece together the puzzles that we're missing, right? So when you first talk about, I'll talk about Ogre first and we can talk about Miguel. When you first talk about Ogre, something you have to talk about is one, what they did in the story. In the story of Tekken 8, they did many flashbacks to Tekken 7, to Tekken 5, many different times, right? They showed you like the actual Tekken game, the lower resolution and everything, right? For Heihachi, for many times. But when it came to Ogre, they did not do that. They showed Ogre one time throughout the entirety of the story, and that is when Debunking was getting his cheeks clapped by Kazuya Mishima. He started to panic, have flashbacks, he saw Ogre, and then he went into attack, and then he continued to get his cheeks clapped. But the Ogre that he saw was not a flashback. It was not a flashback to Tekken 3. I have a side-by-side comparison just so you guys really understand what I'm talking about. Tekken 3 Ogre, the variation that we have in that game, is him holding the head. A lot of people believe it to be King's head. Some people believe it to be Jin Kazama's head, but it's not really her actual head. It's what Jin Kazama thinks happened to his mom, because you got to remember he got knocked out during the fight, so he don't know what happened. So this is what Jin is perceiving to have happened, right? That's the two different variations of this image. But in Tekken 8, when Jin Kazama goes back to that moment, you can see, one, they recreated Ogre's model in Unreal Engine 5, the whole entire environment around the pillars from the sky, everything, they redone it. And the question that I ask is, and we've always been asking this, why would you go through the effort of recreating Ogre and this whole environment, entire thing in Unreal Engine 5, when you could just use the flashback to fill in this 3 seconds like you did for the Heihachi segments, right? They literally used Heihachi Tekken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to fill in those flashbacks. So that was something that a lot of people just felt was strange, and we never knew why, and the story doesn't even like explain it, right? We hope story DLC will give us more answers, but we have to wait until we get there. Now, on the topic of story DLC, this was something else that players noticed in the Heihachi trailer. Heihachi's going to play a big role in the story, and this trailer was kind of hyping up that. There was this one moment here where there was like a lot of destruction. I personally don't believe this is the volcano, because you don't see any lava and stuff anywhere. It looks like it's a totally new place, and you have this one statue here, and a lot of people believe that this is Ogre. As you can see, the headpiece definitely looks like Ogre. It looks like it extends upwards, it extends on the sides, and then also too, a very defining feature of Ogre is the cheek. The cheek has this like kind of curve like thing to it, and you could definitely see it there as well. So in my opinion, this headpiece from the shoulders up definitely looks like Ogre, but where I start to not believe is when you look at the legs. The legs has like a lot of like drapes and like cloths and fabrics, and it doesn't really look like Ogre as he's been depicted. He usually has like a massive belt buckle, the middle sash piece, and then it just shows his muscular legs. That's Ogre, right? So I don't know why they would change the lower half of his body if this is supposed to be a statue of Ogre. But once again, the community is pretty divided on this. Some people believe it's Ogre, some people believe it's just like whatever, right? So as I was making this video, I had to turn on my PS5 because I kind of had a little euphoria moment. This Ogre creature that we're seeing here, I believe it's not actually Ogre, and I think I found the solution as to what it is. So first pay attention to the head, right? We talked about the head pieces and how it goes up, but notice this arm here. This arm goes up kind of in a curving motion, and then also pay attention to the fabrics. In the Reina stage for Tekken 8, you see the same thing. You see the head pieces at the top there, they go up, and it kind of like spirals. You can see a lot of fabric on the arms. You can see the hand is making that same motion. Look at the legs, right? Can I jump with Yoshimitsu? Look at the legs, right? So that's what, and also to pay attention to how the altitude. So this stage is elevated. This statue is so tall, yet we are at its hip height. Now that makes sense. If you look here, right, the statue is kind of sunken down, like it's on a slope. So if we follow this line, the stage would be like that, right? So we'll be like something like here. So if you just pay attention to how this whole like area is, it looks like some kind of bomb went off. It's destroyed, and Heihachi is walking out of it. A lot of people was very confused because this was not a volcano, and I think this is actually the Mishima Dojo exploded, and it has nothing to do with Ogre as it relates to that statue, right? That statue is not Ogre. And now let's talk about the actual leak. So this leak here, if I'm being honest, is kind of sloppy. You know, we see a lot of leaks for Tekken 8, and some of them have ended up being real. Like you talk about the entire roster leak, and a lot of people thought that was fake until we saw Raven and Azazina. And then you also got to talk about all the fake leaks we saw. So many fake leaks all over the place. And when I look at this, it just screams 100% fake. So let's go full screen on this. You can see here Ogre, right? This is Ogre, and it's a render, quote unquote render. Now we know the developers have been releasing a lot of art for the characters. I have videos talking about Tekken 8, and even some Armor King art they released for no reason whatsoever. But this Ogre art, I just googled right now on the side, and I have the exact picture, right? So this is literally that image. So where's this from? It says Tekken Tag Tournament 2 card background. So whoever made this, Mad Mike said he saw someone posted to Reddit. I looked on Reddit, I didn't see anything whatsoever that says that, but as you can see here, whoever created this simply used this art here, they put it here, they made it dark, and then whatever, right? It's not real Ogre, it's fake, right? But now when we talk about the other character on here, Miguel, Miguel is a character who I do think will show up eventually. Like, his statistics is very high, his popularity, his usage, everything is strong about the character. If he wasn't in this whole DLC environment, he would have been base roster is what I believe. But this design here doesn't look like Ogre at all. Now, I did some Googling and I couldn't find anything that resembles this at all, but I mean, it doesn't look like anything Tekken. Like, I don't know what this is. Does Miguel even have tattoos like this? Let me look up Miguel real quick. He doesn't have tattoos on his forearms, and this character is like fully decked out, and you can even see something there. So in my opinion, this is not Miguel. I don't know who created this. It's most certainly fake. So if the Ogre thing wasn't there, then maybe this could pass off as Miguel, but the fact that we know where this Ogre comes from, and then you have this random like Miguel garbage next to it, it's obviously fake. That's what I think, at least.